Oilers, you got a great offense with Connor McDavid. So I have them sweeping them.
Yeah, well, I don't think you heard my point. The San Francisco Giants have 3 more in the 2010s than the Rangers have in their entire history. So, yeah.
It's hard to get back and to get back-to-back wins. And I don't see the Lightning doing it here, so I have them losing to the Hurricanes in 6.
We don't talk about the 2010s because the 2010s had the Astros. And if the Astros didn't happen, the Yankees would have won in 2017 with the Dodgers.
He was close to Frank Reich, and they want Frank Reich back, so that's what they got. It's their discount Frank Reich.
Kaprizov and the rest of this crew, Jordan Greenway, who doesn't get enough props. He definitely is somebody who needs to be mentioned more.
Hi, this is Julie Dobbs. You're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. And the man that is not playing injured or hurt, Austin.
Thankfully, I'm not playing injured or hurt. I hate being injured or hurt, but Kevin, I'll just ask you what the prompt is asking us. Was Embiid rushed back?
I'm kind of surprised he came back. I really thought he was done for the year because of the meniscus, and we talked about they seem to be very careful with him, and he's always dealt with knee problems, I think. Because even when he came out of Kansas, and when he was drafted, I guess it was his foot.
That was his foot. But he was out for 2 years because of a foot injury. But yes.
Yeah. It always seems like there's something with Embiid.
Lower body. Yeah.
Yep. And knee specifically, we've seen centers, especially like now, like I think of Porzingis, like meniscus.
He tore his ACL.
Kristaps. I thought he tore his meniscus, or he had a tear in the meniscus against the Mavs in the Mavs Clippers series in the bubble.
Oh yeah, he may have had that. Yeah.
So knees are just, I think, tough for guys, but it always seems like they take gentle care. But yeah, I wonder because I know the East isn't as competitive as the West. But it looks like the Sixers are fighting for a play-in spot. But I'm just surprised, and this might be the final year of Embiid in Philly, or that's what it seems like. So if I had taken a long-term view, I would have waited. But it seems like the Sixers may not be thinking in the long term with Embiid.
Yeah, you really have to when you're looking at this. Do you think, as the GM, that you have a chance to win a championship this year with this roster against your opponents that you will be facing? And the Celtics are clearly, in my opinion, the best team in the league right now, especially because of how deep they are and how much talent they have spread around their bench and starters. But is it worth it? If he ends up tearing his ACL, and again, knock on wood, I really don't hope it happens. But when you rush somebody back from an injury, especially one that for a lot of players would take a little bit longer, that's what you're risking. And I know they're going to take it easy with him during the regular season, and they're going to get him back in playoffs. But is it worth it? And then for Embiid, people don't already see him as a playoff performer. They see him as a playoff choker and all this other stuff. But is it worth that when you're not going to be at your 100%? Because I know he's still feeling it somewhat when he's playing. He has to be sore in some aspects of his game because I know that affects your leg. You can't do any leg workouts. And being as tall as he is, landing hurts worse and all that other stuff. So is it worth the media critique and also a team failure if you are not 100% and coming back like you are?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's worth it right now, given where they're at, because he's going to need to be healthy for the play-in, because it's a one-game series, for them to just be able to compete in the playoffs. And I don't know if they have a shot. They may have a shot to get out of the play-in, because they would get a week off if they avoid the play-in, I believe.
They need that desperately.
Yeah.
desperately.
So that could be what Embiid is thinking. Or that's what the team's thinking. Okay, we get a week off. Let's push for it. Then we get a week for him to rest and relax.
But, I mean, there's a lot they're risking here. And I do think that if it works out, it would be amazing. If he does come back and they end up being even just Eastern Conference champions, or even make it to the Eastern Conference final, especially starting as low, they could play the Celtics in round 1. And that's a tough matchup already. They already lost to that team last year. And that was with Harden and with the healthier Embiid. And without the Celtics having Kristaps or Drew Holiday. Or did they have Kristaps last year?
No, they did not. They added Kristaps and Drew Holiday.
Yeah, and they still have Derek White, and they still have Al Horford, and obviously Tatum and Brown are still playing well. So it's going to be tough. I don't know necessarily. If they were the 1 seed or 2 seed, maybe, yeah, okay, bring him back. But being the 8 seed right now and potentially finishing, they could have brought him back and still missed the playoffs. You get hurt in a play-in game, Kevin, and they could miss the playoffs.
Yeah. If I'm the Sixers, I just would have waited and just go, because he is your franchise player. He is a great player. I don't know how he ranks. I'm not a huge fan of him overall, but he is the Sixers, and they're an entirely different team when he's healthy, for the better. So they're risking that.
Yeah, I completely agree. And another thing is, like, this isn't his first injury or second injury. This is a noted occurrence with him, and I really wouldn't risk it.
Yeah, and they have been very cautious in the past. So I just thought when the injury first happened, I was like, oh, he's probably done for the season. But they're like, he could come back. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not happening. But yeah, no, it's very perplexing to me, given just in the past they've handled this. So I really wonder if they think this is the final year of them having Embiid. Because maybe it's just the media, but I feel like there has been thoughts of him being traded in the summer. Do you share, or is that just the media pushing it?
My problem is what is he worth? And the reason why I say that is because of his injury concerns. Like, are you willing to give up multiple firsts for obviously an MVP level player, a top 10 player in this league that's definitely going to be talented no matter where he goes? However, is he worth the injury trouble? If he goes there and then hurts his foot again, which has been plaguing him his entire life, is it worth it? So I don't think the trade talks are necessarily just media. I definitely, I mean, they're the 8th seed right now. And I know that they were without Embiid, but with Embiid, they were still like the 3 or 4. And that's in a weaker Western Conference. So I could definitely see them trading Embiid or trying to trade Embiid, but I don't think they ever will because of what I said. I don't know what he's worth. I actually don't know. I'm not going to say what he is worth because of the injury issues, but he's also at his peak so good. So it's how do you balance that? Because you could get yourself fired as a GM for trading for Embiid or get yourself a 10-year contract extension. It's so, and that's just based on whether or not, it's not even whether he plays well or how your team does besides him. It's whether or not he gets hurt.
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, so I like how it's comforting that you're like, yeah, he could be traded. So maybe this is the Sixers and kind of their window as it's slowly closed. If it was ever open, it was open. The window.
It was open the year they had Butler, the year they lost to the Toronto Raptors, the eventual champions, in Game 7 on a buzzer beater. So yeah, definitely that year. And also I think last year they had a serious chance with Harden and Tyrese Maxey still being good. He obviously wasn't as good as he is this year, but he was still talented. And they also had good role players around them. They just choked against the Celtics. They were up 3-2 and choked.
Yeah, that's a great point. So yeah, this may be seen as a window, the final chance with their window open, so the Sixers may rebuild. They did bring in a new coach, so we'll have to see, but I'm shocked he came back.
I agree. I thought, well, once they were saying right after the injury that he would be able to come back, I'm not shocked now. But when he got hurt, I thought he was out for the year.
Yeah, and it's just, especially for big guys, it's probably got to be different with the whole knee situation. But yeah, that's all I got. So I'll toss this over to you.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. What do you guys think about the Embiid injury? Were you surprised that he returned? Do you think it's a good decision or a bad decision? And please catch us in our next video.